State Police started doing sobriety checkpoints in Maryland back in 1982, 83, and we've done varying numbers of them throughout the years around the state. The process is really the same. I mean, we're controlled by court law, court cases that say what we have to do. We set up checkpoints at locations that have been identified as having a problem with impaired driving. Now, if a person comes upon a sobriety checkpoint, it'll be there's signs placed up before it notifying them they're coming into a checkpoint. There's all kinds of police vehicles with their lights flashing. Law enforcement officers will be lined up there. They'll stop them where they want them to stop, and they'll only be stopped there for maybe 20, 30 seconds at the most. They don't have to produce driver's license, registration. That's not what we're there checking for. A law enforcement officer will communicate with them there for that short amount of time. Determine whether they detect any odor of an alcoholic beverage, any indicators of impairment. And if none of that is detected, then the person is directed on through and they can go on down the road. If the law enforcement officer detects an odor of an alcoholic beverage or indicators of impairment, then they would direct the person over to the side of the road, an area that's designated as a stopping area. When a law enforcement officer tests somebody for impairment, they're really looking for psychophysical impairment, and most of the time we use the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration approved standardized field sobriety tests. That consists of checking a person's eyes for horizontal gaze nystagmus, and we also do the walk and turn and one-leg stand test. They're the standardized tests. There's some other tests that law enforcement officers may choose to do, a finger count test. They may have them recite the alphabet, not backwards, forward, and they may have them do some counting exercises and so forth. You know, we're trying to get the public to know that traffic safety is public safety. You know, too many times we hear, you know, why aren't you out dealing with the real crime? Why are you dealing with these? Well, in the state of Maryland, we lose as many people every year, or more people actually, every year from traffic fatalities as we do from homicides. Sobriety checkpoints are just one part of a campaign of high visibility DUI enforcement initiatives that we're doing. We also do saturation patrols, which is putting a large number of law enforcement officers in a problem area and having them out looking for DUI enforcement. We try to publicize those. We put markings on the car to show that they're out there doing DUI enforcement. We may put some signs in the area indicating that it's a DUI enforcement zone. People look at law enforcement officers as arresting the bad guys, arresting the impaired driver, and certainly we do that. But there's a lot more we can do in trying to prevent impaired driving. And you know, the ideal thing is to prevent a person from doing it to start with. And so as long as the public knows that we're out there, we're concentrating on this, we're really looking for the impaired drivers, then hopefully it'll cause them to take an extra time to think about having that last drink before they leave wherever they are, before they go out and get on the road. Be a little more careful about how much they're drinking.